So what is split field coverage? Split field coverage, also called combination coverage. It allows the defense to run different concepts on either side of the field. The split field coverage usually are based out of open coverages. Some call this a too high, because even though it sometimes can look one high, your jack will play high and your free will play high, and it will look like a too high. It's simply easier to have basic coverage used on either side when there isn't a safety in the middle of the field. If we put our free on one side and our jack on the other, it's easy to play two different coverages to either side. Lawton split field coverage basics. We label two sides of our coverages. We have a strong side, and on the strong side we have our money, our free, and a corner, and on our away side we have our jack and our corner. We'll define and explain all coverages separately in this way. All of our coverage concepts can be employed on both the strong side and the away side. While the fundamentals and techniques are the same to either side, the type and quantity will cause them to look slightly different in the whole. Coverage basis, our free safety and money, they always travel together. Our jack safety will always travel to the away side, so he's going to go opposite of money and free. Our cornerbacks never travel. They're always on the same side. We have a right corner and we have a left corner. Our defensive front is divorced. So our inside linebackers, our defensive line, they have nothing to do with the coverages. They have their own responsibilities, and it is divorced from our back five. Pass strength progression. How do we call up our strengths? How do we know where our free and our money go and how our jack goes to the other side? Here's how. The number of receivers. In other words, split end, tight end is stronger than just a split end. The number of receivers from outside to inside. A split end slot is stronger than a split end tight end. Wide side of the field is if all skill players are balanced, i.e. a pistol formation. And then last, the QB's arm or his tendency. Sometimes you might have a right-handed quarterback, but his tendency is to throw left. What are our coverages? Our first coverage we have is we have two read. The cornerback and the safety will read number two. Any route by the number two under inside linebacker depth to the flat, the cornerback will take number two. And the safety jumps number one. Vertical by number two is taken by the safety, and the cornerback has number one. Both eyes are on the number two, and they're reading them. The cornerback will actually be he'll be like angled in towards the number two with one eye on the number one, and will be reading the number two. A vertical by number two, again, is taken by the safety, and the cornerback has number one. The apex, on the strong side, the apex would be the money. In the weak side, the apex would be either the will or the Mike linebacker. Their rule is to never let anything cross their face and that number three can't out-leverage them. So if they get a slant route out of number two or let's say a drag route out of number one, they have to redirect behind them and have to make sure number three can't out-leverage them. They have to play outside of number three. Here we go. We call two read palms in our defense. We have a cornerback and a free safety, and the money is the apex. They're reading number two. Again, if number two goes flat, let's say it's a bubble, the cornerback will jump him, the free safety will jump number one. If it's an out route, the cornerback will jump him, the free safety will jump number one. If number two goes vertical, the free safety stays, and the cornerback has number one. And then the money is the apex. Nothing can cross his face. Number three can't out-leverage him. On the opposite, on the away side, let's say we were calling two read to both sides. Same rules for number one and number two with the cornerback and the jack. At this point, the Mike becomes the apex, and he can let nothing cross his face, and number three can't come over here to out-leverage him. Will is what we would call a rat player. If anything comes to the middle of the field, he's to drop them. Quarters coverage. We also have a quarters coverage. The corner will play man on any deep route of number one. He'll play deep quarter on any other route. So if the split end goes vertical at him, he's going to man him. If he goes slant inside, he's going to sit and let that slant go inside. Even if he comes vertical past 5 yards and he runs post, the corner is still going to go with him on that point. Anything deeper than 5, the corner is number one. Any other route, slant, hitch, anything like that, the corner is going to sit and rally to tackle. The safety has number 2 on vertical and robs number 1 if not. So he's got the inside quarter. If number 2 goes vertical, he's going to take him, even if it's a corner route. If he slants, if number 2 slants inside, if he goes out flat, if he does a bubble, he's going to stop and he's going to rob or help number 1 if not. The apex is man on number 2 unless vertical. So the apex is going to be man on number 2. If he goes out, he's going to go. If he's on slant, he's going to go with him. If he goes vertical, he's going to chip him and let the free safety have him. And then he's going to play flat and he's going to carry the wheel. So if number 2 goes bubble, he's going to go with him and carry the wheel route on that. Because if the corner gets a post route out of number 1, the corner's got to go with him. So we have to be able to carry the wheel out of number 2 with our down safety. How does it look? In this particular case, we can only play quarters versus a 2x2 set on the strong side. We don't have a third player to play quarters on the weak side. We'll probably be playing man-to-man over here or palms on the weak side. On the strong side, again, any vertical on number 1, the corner has them. On a vertical on number 2, the free safety has them. Anything other than vertical out of number 1, the cornerback will sit. Anything other by vertical in number 2, the free safety will help on number 1. The money has any route out of number 2 that's flat. Slant, whip, bubble, flat, and he has to carry the wheel or chair route out of number 2. The Mike and the Will at that point have number 3 man-to-man out of the backfield. If number 3 goes the opposite way, the other inside linebacker will be the rat man, and he takes any crossing route to him and puts a body on that crossing route. Here's quarters versus a tight end look, or 11 personnel. The rules are the same. Free safety still has number 2 vertical. Corner has number 1 vertical. In this particular case, number 2 is a tight end. The money will have anything other than a vertical route. If he tries to go vertical, he's going to let the free safety have him. If he tries to go flat in front of him or he tries to release inside, he's going to release him into the inside linebackers. Again, the inside linebackers are man on number 3. Again, I want to point this out. Because there is only 1 receiver outside, or there's 2 receivers to the side, we cannot play quarters on the away side because we do not have a third man to play quarters on the away side. They have to be, in this particular case, because there's a number 2, we also can't play 2 read, so the jack will be man-to-man on number 2, and the corner will be man-to-man on number 1. Cover 2 man under. Our cover 2 schemes at Lawton is we do not play like cover 2 pattern match. We play cover 2 man under. The corner is lock man on number 1. The apex, in this case, is the down safety. The money is lock man on number 2. And the safety has deep half, and he has the leverage on any run out of number 3. He plays just like a center fielder back there in cover 2 on the strong side. Let's take a look at it in this particular case. We've got lock man on a number 2, and there's a tight end set. We've got lock man from the money to number 2. We have the free safety in deep half. On the away side, we can play cover 2 man under. The jack would be man-to-man on number 1, and the corner would be the one that would have the deep half on that side. And then last, lock man. Corner's lock man on number 1. Safety's lock man on number 2. The apex is lock man on number 3, unless he's blitzed, and then bumps the lock man on number 2 and bumps the mic to number 3. Let's take a look at it. Cornerback's lock man on number 1. The free safety is lock man on number 2. The money is lock man on number 3. On the away side, we've got lock man on the cornerback, and the jack would be lock man on number 2. If for some reason this was a slot out here, then the mic has any route out of number 3, lock man, and the will becomes the rat. If number 3 comes this way, then the will, no matter what, the will has lock man over here. Number 3, at that point, the money becomes lock man. If we get a blitz out of the free safety, then the money then is lock man on number 2, and the will is lock man on number 3. It's just basic man-to-man coverage.